Okay. Good evening, everyone. Our topic based on the Motzei Yom Tu B'Av will speak about a very important notion called love. But of course, we want to see the depth of it through the Torah. There is a very annoying gap between what we expect when we talk about love versus the reality. The reality looks different than what it should be, and many people started a great relationship with a big, great love, but it's dropping a little bit or sometimes really disappointing, which shows that there is a problem with the way we relate to this idea. So I will try in this short time that we have to show something in the base of the entire thing, from going to the Torah, and through the Psukim try to understand this depth, this deep notion called Ahava. We have two mitzvahs, very well known. To love Hashem, this is in Shema, the second version, the second pasuk, the second verse, right? שמע ישראל השם אלוקינו השם אחד, ואהבת את השם אלוקיך. So there is a mitzvah to love Hashem. And the other one is the famous one, ואהבת לרעך כמוך. And the question is what is the meaning of this? How do you love Hashem? In order to understand that, let's go to the beginning of the beginning, which is always Sefer Bereshis. And let's see the famous psukim over here. When Hashem created Adam, Adam was created in the image of God. In the words of the Torah, B'Tselem Elokim. Here we see the psukim in the first perek. After the description of what Hashem created in the 5th day before the 6th one of the Sheshet Yemei Bereshit, in the 6th day, Hashem says the following: Vayomer Elokim, Naaseh Adam b'Tzelmeinu kidmutenu, וירדו בדגת הים ובעוף השמיים ובבהמה ובכל הארץ ובכל הרמס הרומס על הארץ. And here, very unusual, Hashem created the entire thing before. It never mentioned in the Torah the intention, what I want to do. Right here it says, I want to create Adam. And I want to create him בצלם אלוקים, בצלמנו כדמותנו. And I'm creating him in order that he will rule over the entire creation that I created before. So the second pasuk is, ויברא אלוקים את האדם בצלמו, בצלם אלוקים ברא אותו, זכר ונקבה ברא אותם. This is a general introduction because the details about the process will come later. But what's actually written over here? Adam is בצלם אלוקים. So we have to understand those parts of this entire thing. Adam equal צלם אלוקים equal זכר ונקבה. What is צלם אלוקים? צלם אלוקים is זכר ונקבה, and that is Adam. So we have to understand few things, few major things. What is the meaning of בצלם אלוקים? It's words, but they could not be understood in the simple way. What Tselem Elokim? Besides, Hashem has few names. Adam was created B'Tselem Elokim, not B'Tselem Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, not B'Tselem Adnut, which is the other name of Hashem, Melashon Adon, Master, Elokim, and B'Tselem Elokim. In brief, I mentioned that I believe anyone who heard more than one lecture from me heard that many times. Yud Mem, Yud and the Mem at the end of any word in Hebrew make it plural, right? Yad, Yadayim, Ozen, Oznaim, Regel, Raglaim, Berech, Birkaim, Lechi, Lechayim, etc. Yud Mem take a singular and make it plural, right? In the word Elokim, we have Yud Mem. And it's a big philosophical question. Why? Hashem is one. Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. So, and there are singular. You could say Aleph Lamed. You could say Eloah. But the Torah and the Tanakh mention this name of Hashem always in plural. So it says something. And Adam was created B'Tselem Elokim. So by Adam it's understood, because what is Adam? Zachar u'Nekeva. So that's plural. So, but how come it's B'Tselem Elokim? B'Tselmenu Kidmutenu. How Hashem is Chas v'Shalom more than one? The big secret is in this. But I just put the questions that we... Okay, let's go on. So after we know in the first chapter, Perek Aleph, at the end of it, ויברא אלוקים את האדם בצלמו, בצלם אלוקים ברא אותו, זכר ונקבה ברא אותם. If you read only this, it seems like when Hashem created Adam, he created a male and a female. But it's not true, because if you go to the second chapter, you find out that it was a process. In the beginning, Hashem created only Adam, without the female. Let's see how Hashem created Adam. We go into the next chapter, Pasuk Zayin. וייצר השם אלוקים את האדם, עפר מן האדמה, ויפח באפיו נשמת חיים, ויהי האדם לנפש חיה. And here we find also two components, guf ונשמה. We're talking about Adam himself, without the female, right? Him. He is a combination of a body and a soul. The body is material. The neshama, we do not know what is this, but the Zohar says that the neshama is, in the words of the Zohar, it's chelek eloka mimal. But you do not, you have to be really careful not to understand it literally, because it's not part of Hashem. The Zohar explains it and says, vayipach ba'apav nishmat chayim, man de nafach midilei nafach, when you have a balloon and you blew air into it, right? The air that now in the balloon was before in my lungs. Even when it was in my lungs, it was not me, it was in me. And when it was in me, it was part of me, but it's not me. So this way you have to understand this. The neshama is chelek eloka mimal, meaning there are some qualities in the neshama that also are in Hashem. Those two combined to be Adam. Okay? But that was the first step. This is Pasuk Zayin. Right? If we continue, we will see that after Hashem created Adam, a combination of Afar min Adama and Nishmat Chaim, few psukim later, it says, ויאמר השם אלוקים, פסוק י"ח, ויאמר השם אלוקים, לא טוב היות האדם לבדו, אעשה לו עזר כנגדו. Hashem looked at this Adam, which is a body and a soul, and he said, not good, not good. It was not a mistake. Hashem created everything before Adam, the animals, each one of them is a male and a female. And it was before. So when Hashem created Adam, he created him on purpose, not with a female. And then you look at it and say, not good. Not good, why did you do it? And what's so not good about it? No explanation, just not good. So what will be the solution? E'eseh lo ezer kenegdo. What is ezer kenegdo? Listen, you probably know it, that any translation is always diminishing the meaning in the original. So it doesn't matter how do you translate it. Here they translate it, make him helper corresponding to him. That's a kenegdo. What's kenegdo? Okay. In Lashon HaKodesh, kenegdo has two meanings. Either alongside, like Esav says to Yaakov, Nis'a v'nelecha ve'elcha lenegdecha, meaning parallel to you, next to you, alongside to you. But also, the word kenegdo is against him. Against, neged. The Chazal says that both meaning are including over here in the Ezer Kenegdo. And this by itself an amazing thing. We'll see how much we could cover about it. Chazal says, Ezer Kenegdo, Ezer meaning has a positive connotation, right? Help. Kenegdo is against. So it's helping or fighting. Says Chazal, Zacha Ezer lo zacha kenegdo. And it seems to us, if the guy is lucky, he will get a helper. If not, he will get an enemy. Zacha Ezer. What Zacha? Zacha, the simple understanding is, if he's lucky, if he's merited, right? But the meaning of the word zchut in Hebrew, Zacha, include another meaning. Zacha, milashon zakut, purified, purification. Lezakech, if you have water, dirty water, you could purify them, and then it will become clear, right? So this is also zacha, milashon zchut. So anyways, there are a lot of questions. I want to relate to at least some of them and give some amazing, fundamental, basic, important understanding of the concepts that we all talk about, but we're missing really the depth in it. Now? Okay. This shiur, Bezrat Hashem, will be Leilui Nishmat Mordechai ben Chaim Aaron, Zichrono Livracha. Okay. Let's continue. I'll add few more questions, just reading the pshat, the simple understanding of the psukim, okay? Fine. So in Pasuk Yudchet we realize that Hashem says, no, it's not good. It's not good. And I'm going to fix it. The way to fix it, to make the not good good, to create a Ezer Kenegdo. Now, what will be the continuation? We skipping to Pasuk Kaf Aleph. And we see that that's the way Hashem chose to solve this problem of Lo Tov Heyot Adam Levado. He put Adam in anesthesia. He was the first one who was under anesthesia. ויפל השם אלוקים תרדמה על האדם, וישן, ויקח אחת מצלותיו, ויסגור בשר תחתינה. Hashem made an operation on Adam. He put him to sleep, and he cut from his body אחת מצלותיו. So tzalotav could be a rib, but could be also a whole side, like tzalot hamishkan, tzalot hamizbeach, which is sides. Doesn't matter what, it could be this or this. Anyway, that's what he did. Hashem took part of Adam, ויסגור בשר תחתנה, ויבן השם אלוקים את הצלע אשר לקח מן האדם לאישה, ויביאה אל האדם. And this is very interesting, because as we said before, Hashem created all the animals before, all the birds, all the fish, and each one of them has a male and a female. But none of them, the female came or was created or was separated from the male. Only here. Only here. Fine. Let's go to the last pasuk here. Alken. You know what? Let's read it from here. ויאמר האדם, זאת הפעם עצם העצמי הוא בשר מבשרי, לזאת יקרא אישה כי מאיש לוקחה זאת. The name in Lashon HaKodesh for woman is Isha. Why? Because it was taken from the Ish. Therefore, now the Torah continues and says the following: על כן יעזוב איש את אביו ואת אמו ודבק באשתו והיו לבשר אחד. Therefore, no one was born married, right? And we grew up, and then at a certain age, we got married. When we got married, we're leaving our parents, and we become one with the spouse. The depth of this is the following. We find over here combinations. Actually, two circles of combinations. Combination number one, what we saw here. ויצר השם אלוקים את האדם עפר מן האדמה ויפח באפיו נשמת חיים. This is the first combination, but this combination is very complicated. The worst shidduch ever was the shidduch between the body and the soul, the neshama and the soul. Why? Because they're supposed to be partners, but they have no common interest. Anything that interests the body, not interest at all the neshama, and vice versa. Therefore, to take these two opposite things, put them together, and make them one system, it's a big problem. When Hashem did this, He arranged a guaranteed parnasa for psychiatrists and psychologists.
And lawyers.
Yeah, lawyers is the side benefit of this. Why? Because anything, whatever you'll do, someone will be miserable. You'll be too physical, the neshama will feel so miserable. You'll be too spiritual, the body will suffer. And it's not just the body and the soul, it's the tendency and the character and the tchunot and the she'ifot and everything that each one of them. So it's a big problem. Hashem did something, He created. Now, the body is from the Adama, afar min Adama. The neshama, be aware of this, very interesting. The letter Shin Mem are in the word shamayim and in the word neshama. The Shin Mem are a word by itself in Hebrew, which is sham. Sham meaning there, there meaning not here. Because it's not just there, sham, but with the yud mem, it's there in square. Meaning it's very, very there. We could understand things that we could feel in our senses. We could understand it. There are things that are above our ability to understand, and this is the sham, this is the shamayim, and this is the neshama. And those two was combined by Hashem to make Adam. Okay, so that is complicated enough. Hashem looked at it, and as we saw, He said, no, not good, not good. Lot of. So how will make it good? We'll make it even more complicated. He took part of the body, made from it a female. It doesn't mention in the pasuk where the neshama of Chava came from, but it says in the Zohar, in the Kabbalah, it says that Hashem created only one neshama, this one, nishmat chaim, and when He separated the body of Chava from the body of Adam, He split the neshama. The male part of the neshama stayed by Adam, the female went to Chava. The bottom line is, we're talking about here one neshama, one body that was separated. But it was separated not in order to stay separated, but in order for them to reunite. Al ken ya'azov ish et avit v'et imo v'davak b'ishto. Meaning, part of the mission of every human being is to create themselves. And that's why we are B'Tselem Elokim. What's B'Tselem Elokim? We didn't really explain this. B'Tselem Elokim is, we have some similarity between us and Hashem. When Hashem created everything, all the elements that Hashem created in the creation are creatures. Right? Hashem is the creator, they are creatures. When He was about to create Adam, He said, I don't want to create another creature. I want to create a creature that will be a creator. He's B'Tselem Elokim. Question is, what do you have to create? Hashem created everything. What's left for us to create? Hashem created everything, but one thing. You. He left it for you to create yourself. In order for you to create yourself, He gave you the ingredients. You know what's the ingredients? The body, the soul. That's really not goes together, but this is your mission. This is the art. The art of life is to connect them and make them work together. It will be very, very hard, but that is the mission of your life, every single one. But as we said, it's complicated because you could not do it yourself. You need to find the other side, the other half. And the other half has to work on herself. Understanding that she has a body, she has a neshama, that they're working automatically together. You have to adjust them. After he adjusts his body and soul, and she adjusts her body and soul, now is the big mission to make the four components works together. And this is our mission as people. We have to create ourselves. So those things are fundamental in order to understand the thing that we want to talk about, which is love. Remember this thing. In the world, a man and a woman are 1 plus 1 equals 2. We say it's wrong. It's not. It's half plus half equals 1. It's a huge, this is the basic of understanding of the implications of this are unbelievable. You will see. When you won, you do not need anyone else. You won, you complete, right? Now I could take a partner as, like I'm taking a business partner. My business working very well. Okay, I think if I take the other guy, I will enhance it. But even without it, I'm full, I'm good. When you have, you cannot function. When you have, you cannot function. And that's the way the Torah described to us what Adam is. Half plus half, plus half. Okay. Now let's a little bit explain the concept of Elokim. I have to apologize because there are different opinions in the halacha. You know that many people are very careful not to say Elokim with hey, right? So you have to know this is a chumrah that was very accepted by the Jews that came from Galut Ashkenaz. The Jews that came from Galut Sfarad and the Teimanim never was makpid in this. I'm usually saying it because I know it's really hard in the ear to hear it. But you have to know, according to the halacha, there is no problem to say it the way it is. And I have to use it now in order to explain something, okay? For sure, if you read the whole pasuk, but even if not, if you read the whole pasuk, you could read Elokim with a hey. But let's talk about the concept of B'Tselem Elokim. First, we have to ask ourselves, why Hashem have more than one name? Hashem is one. How can we have so many names of Hashem? We mentioned 3 that are very famous, but there are many more. In the Tanakh, in the Torah, we find Yud Kei Vav Kei. We find Aleph Daled Nun Yud, which is Adon, master. And we find Elokim. So even those 3, there are more kinuim like Tzvaot, El Shaddai, whatever. And there is a famous one that's not mentioned in the Tanakh, but we use it all the time. HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Amakom, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And if you really, really want another name, the Eibishter. Right? And other stuff. There are kinuim la Hashem. Lama? Why? Why we do need so many names in the Torah itself? Why we need more than one name? So listen to this. This by itself is something really interesting. Real name is something. This is the first mission. The first mission that Adam got. Before Hashem commanded him, don't eat from the tree in Gan Eden. It's a datova. The first mission was Hashem passed all the animals in front of him and he asked him to name them. And it says, V'chol asher yikra lo ha'adam nefesh chaya hu shmo. He knew to get the right names. A right name is the definition of the one who got the name. So the real name is actually a definition of the thing that got the name. Therefore, it's impossible to give Hashem any name. Because Hashem is undefinable. Fine is finite, right? Is limited. And Hashem is infinite. Infinite. So you could not give, if name is a definition, you could not give name to Hashem. So we have to know that all the names that Hashem has in the Torah, in the Tanakh, and even in Chazal, like I said, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, are not the names of the essence, the definition of Hashem. It's called Shmot HaHanhaga, Lo Shmot HaEtzem. It's not the name of the essence, it's the names of the way he relates to the creation that he created. To understand it deeper, imagine someone that has different relations with the society around him. He's married, he has a wife, he has children, he has grandchildren, his parents still alive, and even his grandparents still alive. He is a doctor, and he's also a Rav, Talmid Chacham, okay? Same person. All those people that are around him will call him in different name. His wife, only his wife, will call him husband. His children, Abba. His grandchildren, Saba. His parents, Ben. The grandparents, Neched. The patient will call him a doctor. The Talmidim, the students, will call him Rabbi. One person, many names. Each one of the names is not defined who he is. It's defined how this group relates to it. This person relate to it. So the names are not saying what he is, but how I relate to him. He's my father. He's my grandfather. He's my Rebbe. He's my doctor. He's my son. Right? This is the mashal that I could give to understand Shmot HaHanaga shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Hashem created the world, but Hashem himself doesn't have a name, a definition of what he is, because he is above any definition. All the names are how he relates to the creation that he created. Now, if you learn the first Rashi in the Tanakh, first Rashi in the Torah, Bereshit bara Elokim et hashamayim v'et haaretz, Rashi pointed out, Bereshit bara Elokim, Rashi said, Velo amar bara Hashem. It says Elokim. In the entire first chapter to the end of the Vayechulu, which is the 3 psukim of the second chapter. Elokim, Elokim, Elokim. Only in the next pasuk after Vayechulu hashamayim asher bara Elokim la'asot, then it says, Ele toldot hashamayim va'aretz bi'yibara'am, Beyom asot Hashem Elokim Eretz Hashamayim. This is the first time that Yud Kei Vav Kei mentioned before the name of Elokim, with the name of Elokim. Says Rashi, Bereshit bara Elokim velo amar Bereshit bara Hashem, שבתחילה רצה לברוא הקדוש ברוך הוא את העולם במידת הדין. ראה שאין העולם עומד במידת הדין, עמד ושיתף את מידת הרחמים. In the beginning, the idea was that this world will be judged according to the judgment measurement. And this is Elokim. Then Hashem says, let's add to it Midat HaRachamim. So what we learn from this, that Yud Kei Vav Kei is the attribute of mercy. Why, how, and how it's related to those specific letters. But Elokim is Midat Adin. So, because we want to discuss Tselem Elokim, let's go to explain what Elokim is. Aleph Lamed, in Lashon HaKodesh, in Hebrew, in the Lashon HaKodesh, Aleph Lamed is a power. Power. Lavan, when Lavan was chased after Yaakov, he said, Yesh le'el yadi la'asot lachem me'uma. I have in my might to do something, to do bad to you. I have in my might. How he said that? Yesh le'el yadi, Aleph Lamed. Aleph Lamed is koach, is power. When Hashem relate to this world, to the creation, in the power, then it was called Elokim. Now, why in the entire description of the creation we find Hashem as Elokim? There is a pasuk in Tehillim 1:1:1. Kuf Yud Aleph, Tehillim. כוח מעשיו הגיד לעמו לתת להם נחלת גויים. כוח מעשיו is the מעשה הבריאה, מעשה הבריאה. The ultimate power of Hashem manifests itself by the creation itself. To take and create all this amazing creation, the entire universe, and it's more than the physical thing that we see. Everything that was created by Hashem from nothing. This is the ultimate power. Therefore, Hashem called Elokim. Midat Hadin. Din, it's power. Din, when a judge decide what will be with this person, you know, they could put people to death or to jail for a life. They have a lot of power. Therefore, Hadayanim nikraim Elokim. Judge, in the Torah, they called Elokim. So, Hashem is Elokim. We still have to explain why in plural. But after we explain that Elokim is not the name of Hashem, it's the name of the Hanhaga, how he relates to the creation. Now it's very understood why it's plural. Because the difference between the creator and the creation is the difference between 1 and 2. Hashem is 1. Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. The Torah started with the letter Bet, not with the letter Aleph. Bet is number 2, right? Why? Because the Torah is speaking about the creation, not the creator. And what is the creation? It's dual. Shamayim va'aretz. Shamayim va'aretz is 2. Therefore, the name of Elokim relating to the creation that he created is in plural, because there is a power over here between המערכת המשפיעה למערכת המקבלת, which is the aretz. השמיים is the spiritual that flow and maintain, and the aretz is the receiver who receive the hashpa'a, the flow, the shefa. Okay, now let's go to Adam. At the 6th day of the creation, Hashem decided to create Adam. How he created Adam? There is a famous Mishnah, you probably know about it. Kol hametzil nefesh miYisrael ki'ilu matzil olam maleh. Anyone who saved one soul, one person, like he saved the world. So there is a parallel between the world and a person. What is the common between them? They both spiritual and physical. The big, the macro, is the shamayim and the aretz, but the micro is a human being, which is shamayim va'aretz, neshama and guf. When Hashem created Adam, he said, I want to create Adam betzelem Elokim, in the image of God, the image of Elokim, meaning the way Hashem relates to the creation that combined from shamayim va'aretz. So the body and the soul, the guf and the neshama, actually the neshama is the shamayim. Vayipach be'apav nishmat chayim. Nishmat chayim meaning the life, the life come to the body which is physical. The body by itself is a material, and material is a dead entity. What gives life? The neshama. So the neshama is giving the life to the physical body. This is the meaning that Adam is betzelem Elokim. The same way the big world, the big olam, are shamayim va'aretz, Adam is a mini olam, a micro olam. But it says that tzelem Elokim is not just this. Tzelem Elokim is zachar v'nekeva. And in zachar v'nekeva, you find very interesting thing. Each one of them has a body. Each one of them has a neshama. And between the body and the neshama is the giver, the body is the receiver. But if you take the male and the female and see the relation between them, you will see that one of them is the giver and the other the receiver. In, let's say, very technical thing, a baby. He's giving, she got, cultivate, and deliver. Meaning, there is a receiver and a giver. Giver and the receiver, and we find the same thing. Therefore, Tselem Elokim is Zachar v'Nekeva, and this is actually the Shamayim v'Aretz, and that's why it was chose Tselem Elokim Davka. Lo Yudkei Vavkei, lo Adnut, not the other thing, but Elokim, because Elokim are power. When you have a flow system and a received system, there is an interaction between them. This is Elokim. This is the power that goes within them. Okay. When Hashem created Chava, He created her from Adam. From Adam. He could create her by itself. No, He created her from Adam. Because they, in the beginning, they were one. They were separated in order for them to reconnect. Fine. This is the philosophical part. Now let's go to the practical, emotional concept called love. What is love? Love is a very fundamental thing that every human being needs in order to grow up. Every kid, every human being, in order to grow up healthy, must have love. In two ways. Every person must feel that he is loved, that people loved him, her. This is one need. The other need is to love. האדם צריך להיות אוהב ונאהב. If someone has lack of this, it will affect their personality. If someone, chas v'shalom, was born, no one loved them ever, they will have a real scar in their personality. What is love? So I'll skip all the amazing philosophers in Hollywood that explain to the entire world what is love. Let's talk about the real thing. What is love? So in order to understand what is love, we have to understand first what it is not. It is not a hug. What's the proof? We said Hashem gave us in the Torah two mitzvahs. One is ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, and one ve'ahavta et Hashem Elokecha. Same words. Because you could not love Hashem with a hug, etc., because He doesn't have a body. Hashem do not have a body. And yet, you should, therefore, you could love without a body. How do you love Hashem? How do you love Hashem? How do you love someone that you never saw? Because you could not see, could not feel, right, in your senses. How could you love someone? How do you love Hashem? And why it's the same words? Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, same thing, ve'ahavta et Hashem Elokecha. So first of all, it's proving that ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha could not be a hug. That's not it. So how do you love? You know what? More than that. Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. We're all familiar with it, right? Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. The next word is ve'ahavta. Ve'ahavta et Hashem Elokecha. B'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol ma'odecha. How do you love Hashem? So what is the meaning? B'chol levavcha, b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol ma'odecha. Afilu notel et nafshecha. And this is the mitzvah to be ready to die for Kiddush Hashem. Because the love to Hashem, the connection to Hashem, worth any price, even the life. Let me first tell you and then I prove it. Love is giving. You know about this. The Rav Dessler is so famous, right? Love is giving. But let me explain this. You have to love Hashem in a way that you'll be willing to give everything, including the most important thing, which is life. Why you want to give? So in our world, it's really hard to explain how to give without understanding the benefit of the giver. Anyone who gives because of a reason, any reason, right? When I give in order to get, it's not giving. It's a sophisticated taking. I'm doing business. I'm ready to give a lot in order to get something from it. If I'll give and give and give and I'll not get anything, I'll stop giving. There is a word in Hebrew, in the Israeli Hebrew, that I did not find any good translation in any language in the world because it's a matter of culture. Did you ever heard the word friar? Could you translate it? Monk. No, it's not it. Friar is הרבה יותר friar than monk. What is friar? I'm willing to give a lot, but I don't want to be friar. I don't want people use my wants to give and use me. So when you give in order to get, you are not giving. You are a sophisticated taker. They do business. I'll give some in order to get some, or even more. Real giving, pure giving, is giving with an honest, not anything in mind to get. I don't want to get anything. Now, when I want to get in order to give as a condition, I'm poor. I need something. So my way to do it is recognition. You know, I will donate a whole big, beautiful building in one condition. Big sign in the front that I'm the donor. I have a lot of money. I don't need money. I need honor. I need people to recognize me. Okay? That's, again, I'm giving in order to, and if I'll come after, let's say, a few months and I'll see that הבניין בשיפוצים, you have to fix a few things. So meanwhile, they took off the sign, but they forgot to put it back after the shiputz. And then I'll be very angry, because what do you mean? I gave in order, where's the sign? So this is just an example. Every time that you give in order to get, you're not giving. Why we will give without any real intention to get? When you're rich not just in money. When you're rich, you do not need to get back anything. I'm good, take. Call all your friends. Let them come and take even more. No problem. Don't give me, don't say thank you, don't do anything. I have a lot, I don't want anything in return. This is a real giving. One thing you have to know, between those two parts, the body and the soul, the body could not do this. It's impossible. The body, by the essence of it, and that's a whole another thing, also very interesting in Lashon HaKodesh. The body is material. How do you say material in Hebrew? In Lashon HaKodesh, chomer. Chomer. The main letters in the word chomer are the letter chet vav resh. Chet vav resh is a vacuum. Chor, halal, vacuum. The chomer, by definition, any chomer has a built-in vacuum in it. What is the meaning of it? It's chaser. Let's say, let's take very common thing that everyone could understand. Any human being or animal, or even a plant, need to drink, need to eat, need to be fed, right? If not, they will die. So there is a built-in need to take from outside in. Food, water, whatever, to exist. It means that the built-in of the material is a vacuum. And actually, it's more than a vacuum. It's a black hole. If we'll take it from the astronomy, right? Black hole. What is a black hole? that anything that got into it will be swallowed and the whole will stay the same. So it's an endless block. And this is the material, this is the chomer. Therefore, החומר לא יודע לתת, הוא יודע רק לקחת. The material do not know how to give, because the essence of it is to take. Yeah, if you're sophisticated, you will be willing to give in order to get even more. But if you're not getting, you'll stop giving. So the material will never be able to give. What parts in us could really give? Only the neshama. Only the neshama. Very interesting. Again, Lashon HaKodesh. Chomer. The letters Chet, Vav, Resh in this order are in the Chomer. And it's created, there is another word that, including those three letters, that explain the vacuum. Choser. Chet, Vav, Samech, Resh is the lack that is in the chomer that created, that come because of this chor, because of this vacuum. Take those three letters, same three letters, change the order. Instead of reading it from right to left, read it from left to right. What do you get? Ruach. So ruach is just the opposite of the chomer. The chomer is taking, is a chor, but the ruach is the opposite of it, the giving. So within us, if we have the part that gives, it's only the neshama that could give in pure giving without any interest of something in return, in back. So this is the work that we have to do. Each one of us needs a lot of things. So therefore we have to take. But we have part of us that want and need to give. And this is the other part. And this is the work, this is the project. This is what we said before, you have to create yourself. You have to understand those two parts, understand that they are not natural partners, but train them to work together. Make a harmony between them. This is the art of life. You could do it by yourself, but at a certain point you have to get married. And this is the only way to really create this unit. So the giving is between the male and the female. Because each one of them has something the other one doesn't, and they need to give and take from each other. And this is actually the definition of love. Love is giving. In Lashon HaKodesh, there are two words that in the sound, they sound very, very close to each other, but they're so opposite of each other. The two words are ahava and ta'ava. In Hollywood, they made the ta'ava the translation of ahava. But they are so opposite, because ta'ava is to take, ahava is to give. The proof, ואהבת את השם אלוקיך. Could you give to Hashem? Hashem loves us. ברוך אתה השם אוהב את עמו ישראל. כי אהבך השם אלוקיך. ואוהב את יעקב ואת עשיו. Hashem loves us. Okay, how do we love Hashem? Love is giving. How could we give anything to Hashem? Everything that we have is from Him. You could not give Him anything. Anything that you will give, He gave you. So if love is giving, how could you give Hashem anything? And this is the answer. Hashem gave us everything. But you know what? Among the things that He gave us something called free will. Free, what makes it free? That Hashem is not involving or influencing it. Free will. If Hashem will direct it, it will not be free will. So Hashem gave us as human beings exclusive gift. Only human beings has it. Not animals or plants or whatever, and even not the malachim. Only us. Only people have free will. So they have a bechira, and the bechira is free, meaning Hashem is not getting involved in it. What is the bechira? You need two sides, right? The positive and the negative, the good and the evil. And Hashem gave it to you. Choose. What could you give Hashem?
Good.
No, you could give him. You could say to Hashem this: Hashem, you gave me free will. I don't want free will. Take it back. I don't want two sides. I want only one. And this is you give, because Hashem gave it to you, and He is not interfering. Now you give it to Him. I do not want the evil. I do not want the bad. But it's not easy. It's hard. I have a lot of temptations, other stuff that push me there. Therefore, it's not easy. You have to put a lot of effort, a lot of work. The more you give, the more you love. That's what the Rav Dessler says. People think, if I like someone, love someone, I'll give them gifts. No, just the opposite, said Rav Dessler. You give, the more you give, the more you love. And what's the reason of this? I'll tell you, it's very disappointing. What's the reason that the more you give, the more you love? Very selfish one. Take a couple that have a very correct relations, even good, above the normal. They love each other, they're happy each other, they really have good life together. This couple has children. They love their children two pieces, as we said, right? They really love their children. So you see, you find over here two relations of love. Between the husband and the wife and the husband, and between them to their children. But we find out very interesting phenomena between those two relations of love. The love between us and our children is unconditioned. Unconditioned, I mean, we give, we do not expect anything in return. And it doesn't bother us. You know why we do not expect anything in return? Because they will not give. And yet, we have no problem with this. We love them unconditionally. But between me and my spouse, when everything is fine, it's okay, we love each other. But imagine that one of the partners got tired of giving always. And I said, you know what? He didn't say that. It just he or she act like this. Let me take a break. I'm not giving anymore. Or I'm reducing my give. Of course, it will be obviously recognized by the other partner. And they will start to be worried. But you say, you know what? Fine, a crisis, like that, it will pass. What if it will not pass? Few weeks, few months, and it's still either dropped or continued to drop. Then will be a conversation that will be be'erech like this. Honey, we have to talk. What's going on? What's going on? You used to invest so much and now... So imagine that the answer will be, I don't know, I got tired. How long, if even the other person is very good-hearted, how long they could take it? If they have some hope that it will change, maybe. But if it will not change, something will bother them. And we will find out again that אני לא רוצה להיות friar. I'm willing to give. But I can't be the only giver. And you used to give, and what happened? I will not be happy with this situation. No one will be happy. So, you know that concept called scoring? You did this, so okay, now my turn. Scoring. We doing it with the spouse. We never do it with the children. Why? Why? Between us and the children, it's unconditioned love. Between us and our spouse, there is some, it's not nice to say it, but there is a condition. There are conditions. We see, the way I described it. I'll tell you why, and this is the reason, again, it will make us disappointed. Why we love our children? Because we are selfish. We love ourselves. In the pasuk it says, "Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha." What's the key word over here? Kamocha. There is a hidden assumption over here that you love yourself. Now the Torah says, right, you love yourself, love the other one, your fellow Jew, like you love yourself. But there is a hidden assumption that you love yourself. And let me ask you, is it necessarily? Well, everyone loves themselves?
We're children also. So.
We love children, huh? We love the child in ourselves. Is it? Okay, maybe. I'll make it even more clear. But is it automatically that everyone loves themselves? No. No. Unfortunately, there are people who hate themselves, or at least do not like themselves. Why? Of course, it's not a healthy situation. It's not a healthy case. Why a person will not love themselves? Because they do not know who they are. We are a body and a soul. If we do not know about our soul, and we neglecting the soul, ignoring the soul, even if we give the physical, the body, everything and above, the soul will be miserable. A happy person is a person who knows that he has a body, he has a soul, and he nurtures both and make them work in harmony. This person will love themselves, for sure. So there is a condition here. You will never ever be able to love someone else if you do not love yourself. Kamocha. After you love yourself, then the command is love the other the way you love yourself. Therefore, it says ve'ahavta et Hashem Elokecha in the same thing. In order to love yourself, you have to understand that you have a neshama that came from Hashem. Now, when you look around and you see people, you understand, or I don't know how to say it, you chap the other the way you chap yourself. The way you understand yourself. If I'm a body and I do not know that I have a neshama, when I go outside and see people, you know what I see? Bodies. When I know that I'm a neshama in a body, when I see another person, I see a neshama in a body. And this is the first thing that we say every morning to remind ourselves. מודה אני לפניך, שנתת בי נשמתי, אלוקיי נשמה שנתת בי. I have to recognize, I have to wake up with this. I'm not going to the day as a body. I'm going to the day as a neshama. Every person that I will meet will be a neshama, not a body. A neshama in a body. So love, now, if you realize that you have a body and a soul, and you're happy with them, they work in harmony, you're happy with them, you love yourself. So it's a natural thing to love myself. It's a natural thing. I could not be, it's impossible theoretically to love someone else that's not me. Why I love me? Because love is one. You know what? Let's add this to the equation. Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad ve'ahavta. Ahava is oneness. Hashem is the only one who is really one. I love myself because the lover and the one who is beloved is the same one. That's why I love myself. So according to this, I could not love anyone else that's not me. So how I love my children is me, is an extension of me. When I love my children, I love me that there. It's like, if I have a garden, and I'm working on the plants and watering the ground and take care of, I love my garden. You know what I love? I love my investment in the garden. I love me. I put an effort, so I love this effort. Therefore, the more you give, the more you love. Because you're selfish. You love what you give. Therefore, we love our children unconditionally. Our spouse, okay, I love my wife, but I didn't deliver her. I met her when she was already done. Kala, iklula. So I have to work on the relationship in order to make, but in my children and her children, it's the same. Well, our children is part of us. We do not have to do any effort to love them because it's part of us. So what's the recipe to love, for good love? Understanding this and understanding that love is giving. And you love what you give because it's part of you. The more you give, the more you love. In order to have the recipe for good life, you have to take two people. And both of them should be frayerim, meaning giving without any expectation to get back. If he's giving unconditionally and she's giving unconditionally, they will love each other to the until 120. The minute they will start to make cheshbonot, make calculation, I gave this, you didn't give that, this is the recipe of breaking it. But this is love. Love is giving. And it's just the opposite of what the world know about love. As I said, the philosopher of Hollywood taught everyone that love is giving, is taiva. This is love. Therefore, their love look like this. Real love is to give. We have to solve another problem. How could you give to Hashem? We said that, and how do you give to Hashem? By fighting your urge of technical, physical temptation that separate the harmony between the body and the soul. It's a work. The more you invest, the more you love. This is the bechol nafshecha. So, but this is the concept of Torah about this is the explanation of Torah and understanding of the concept of love. Love is to give. So today many people celebrate, actually it's mentioned in our Makoros, Tetvav Be'av, it's a Jewish idea, but unfortunately this concept also is in Galus, and you see how people translate it. It's like Valentine's Day, Le'avdil, Hashem Yirachem. But it's just the opposite of this. This is, the concept of love is very demanding, but when you do it, you feel great. This is love. Love is to give. And we try to explain a little bit the Tzelem Elokim, the Zachar v'Nekeva. There are so many things, other stuff that we could add to this, but I think for now we...
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, for sure, the questions could be...
Do you think that shidduch, bayat shidduchim that we have here, all across all the migzarim and gilim, and is connected to this?
It's slightly connected. The crisis is different. It's not connected dafka to this. But yeah, there is a lot.
Of the kids.
Right. There is this understanding, no connection to shidduchim. This thing every Jew should learn. And people do not speak about this. And people do not really learn it this way. We are in Galus. The Galus is not just we are not in our land. The Galus is the cultural Galus. The entire thinking, the straight thinking is in Galus. So we are living in very spoiled generation. The entire world. People do not know how to educate. The children in this generation are very spoiled. They feel that they deserve everything. They just deserve it. And the parents think that they're going to be good parents, that if you give them anything, but you teach them to be selfish. If they're selfish, at the first challenge of that they need to give, they need to give up, they will not give up. And therefore, they will break any connection. They will have, and there are traumas. that make people scared to make a connection, a meaningful connection.
Yeah, seeing divorces.
Right. And not just this, because if you take two spoiled kids, everyone think that, each one of them think that the entire world belongs to them. They coming to the shidduch, they coming to the marriage with the intention to get, not to give. And it's just a matter of time until you break. You have to know that it's a project that you have to teach yourself to give, 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 give. No one teaches them this way, and that's why. But the shidduchim problem is bigger than that. It's not just this. There are so many things that make people really scared, or scared to give a commitment. Especially, I don't know, especially if they see around, not necessarily in their family, many marriages that didn't work. So they get them scared. But of course it's part somehow of this, that understanding what love is. But love is work. Is work, is to work on yourself to be a giver, unconditioned giver. This, that actually what we, if you could summarize what we just discussed tonight. Yeah. Yeah, you. Mm-hmm.
So I heard for a show once about how in the Torah, it never says that the woman loves the man back. It always just says, for every case that love is mentioned between a man and a woman, it's always the man, it loves the woman. And the only one time it said was with Michal, that loved King David.
I don't think it's true. I mean, listen, it says about Rivka, ויאהב יצחק את עשיו כי ציד בפיו, ורבקה אוהבת את יעקב. As, okay, fine. No.
But now actually you made me think maybe it's because the man is the giver and the female is the receiver, so maybe it's something.
Yeah, but if love is giving, it should be both ways. Because giving is not giving just technical, physical thing. Also emotions, also, yeah, I don't know about that. I never thought about this, so I never heard that it's mentioned in the entire Tanakh only. Okay. Okay, I don't know if it's necessarily this way. אף פעם לא חשבתי על זה. I never thought about this, that actually it doesn't mention the Torah from the female to the male. Yeah?
So two things. First of all, in the movie Entebbe, where the French plane was hijacked and then they went to Entebbe, I don't know who wrote the script, but it was just interesting that the pilot, when he's on the phone, and so he says, we have 200 souls on board. I still remember that, but I don't know if it really happened like that, but clearly if it did happen like that, he was thinking...
About the soul.
He said that, and I remember when I was watching the movie, like that's an interesting way to put it. You don't really hear people talking like that. But imagine if it's legitimate, and that's, I mean, he apparently was a hero because he wouldn't let the Israelis go, the Jews go, and he really stood up for the Jews. So if the pilot in France actually said that, it's a very high level of a...
Maybe, yeah. Yeah, but this is a very important thing, you know, to look at people as souls.
Yeah, but it's clear. You go watch something. We have 250 souls on board, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
It's stuck in my mind because you don't really see that a lot, especially in Hollywood. So that's the one good thing
Yeah.
that came out of Hollywood.
Okay.
I think an Israeli made the movie, whatever. Okay, so the other thing is Rabbi Ginsburg, Yitzhak Ginsburg from the Five Towns. So they did an interview with him, I'm friendly with him, and he's been helping young couples that get married for years, for decades. And he said 20 years ago, he used to go to a chatan and kala, newlyweds, they had a problem, and he would sit and talk to them, and he said 9 out of 10 times he can get them back together. 20 years later, he's been on 2 decades, he says now when he sits and talks to them, 1% of the time can he get them together. He says, did I change? Because I'm giving exactly the same advice. He was explaining that the generation with what you were just addressing, he's so different, so traumatized on me, that sometimes I don't even want to sit on the table to even talk about getting together. It's not even, so you're talking about from 90% success rate down to 90% failure rate, like a total of an opposite. It's very shocking to see such a...
Right, again,
that's in America. Israel, I can tell you from what I understand, is very different. I think
it's better or not?
Much better. I think we're more in the frum community.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about Tel Aviv. They might be confused over there. But I'm talking about in the Shomer Shabbat community over here. I think it's like it was 20 years ago in America.
Maybe it should be 100% because that's what the Torah teach us to do.
Over here, I think if you were to do a comparison.
Right.
This generation needs to have this direct kind of teaching when they're in high school.
Yeah.
They have to learn this, not when they're staying 6 months before.
You know, but it's not it will not be enough. Why? Because you could give the best information, you could try to do the best as a teacher, as an educator, but if the students are exposed to the other things, it will take away from this. You know,
but you're talking about divorces in Bet Yaakov, in Kololim, and you're talking about divorces in those places, and in those places, just like they learn anything else, they have to learn this directly.
Right, true.
Everybody's afraid to touch this.
Right, but this is Machshavas Yisrael. The law, it's not, it's the Machshava, it's Torah. So that's the thing that we have to emphasize more this aspect, right? We have to learn Machshava about everything, including about this, but about everything. We have to see things in the depth of them that will give the students more confidence about it. If not, okay, katuv kach, so what? I don't identify with this. When you understand it, you see the wisdom in it, you see the truth of it, you identify with it, and it's become part of you. Okay, yeah.
Do you know of any sources in Yiddishkeit that detail the communication tools, let's say, or,
To what?
I'm not talking about therapists, right, but like from our sources, is there anything that describes how to resolve conflict or communication, basically, between husband and wife, let's say?
In the sources, I don't know what you mean in the sources, but the thing is that if you grew up, as I mentioned before, we are not born married, and there is a reason for this. We have to grow up and certain times work on ourselves as individuals to understand the natural conflict between the body and the soul, understand that the big challenge is to make a harmony between. So he has to work on it 20 years, she has to work on it 20 years or so, and then, only then, after they work on understanding that there is a conflict, and understanding that Yiddishkeit is to tell us how to work it together, then they will be ready to get married. All the conflicts that come later on, most of them are because we are not ready, because he's not mature, she's not mature, they never really worked themselves, and therefore, in any relation that there will be conflict. So that's the only source that I know. I mean, the way to really solve the problem. Another thing, if the two of them are obligated to the Torah, many of the conflicts could be solved. Because take an argument between two people who are really believe in Hashem and the Torah. And then they have argument about something. He said that, she said that. Without the Torah, it will be an ego fight. Yes. או שאני מכופף אותך, או שאת מכופפת אותי, but someone going to lose. Even if they work that. And then comes the scoring. You know what? אני ויתרתי קודם, עכשיו אתה צריך לוותר. I gave up. Okay, now. So that's not a way to really manage. Imagine the following will be an argument. He will say this, she will say that. Opposite. They'll say, you know what? I don't know if I'm right or you're right. There is a way to check it out. Let's see what the Torah says about it. Let's see what Hashem says about this. If Hashem will say, like you understand it, I will be doing whatever you want because it's not you, it's him. It's not between me and you. I now will overcome your opinion. We all agree that Hashem is the judge. In this way, many of the conflicts will be easily solved without feeling bad after, because I didn't do what you want against what I want. I did what's right, and it happened that you are right now. In the next argument, I might be right and you will be wrong, but it's not between me and you, it's between us and the truth. So if there is an objective ruler, that will solve many, many of the...
Which book has the answers?
The Torah.
איפה?
In the Aron Kodesh. בראשית ברא אלוקים את השמיים ואת הארץ.
בחזרה להתחלה.
Right. The Torah. Now, how do I understand? How do we really understand what the Torah says? There's the Torah Shebaal Peh, right? The Torah Shebaal Peh explain and get to the one who really understands it right. If you have a Talmid Chacham that you know that he really have a straight way of thinking and he really get the thing the way they are, you can be confident. Okay, this is the thing. If you find a machloket between different kind of rabbanim about things, that's another thing. But asel Rav, and the couple should have a Rav, and what this Rav, it should be an acceptable Rav. This Rav will be the last word. He is the Torah. Hashem says that you have to hear, you do not always understand the Torah yourself. You need to be really Talmid Chacham. So take someone who is Talmid Chacham that is not for you or for him or for one of the side. He will say what the Torah says. But this is the way. We need an objective ruler. It's not me against you, you against me, but it's us that we maybe do not know what's right versus the truth. When we verify the truth, we both agree that this is the authority, and I don't feel that I gave up my opinion for you. I didn't do it for you, I did it for the truth.
Does Aaron HaKohen have like a model that we can learn? He, running back and forth, telling the husband and wife they're both sorry. Is there something to learn from his Mahalech?
Sure, it says about Aaron HaKohen in the Novi. כי שפתי כהן ישמרו דעת, אצל מלאכי. כי שפתי כהן ישמרו דעת ותורה יבקשו מפיהו, כי מלאך השם צבאות הוא. And that was Aaron, אוהב שלום, רודף שלום, אוהב את הבריות ומקרבן לתורה. So he was the teacher. He was the teacher and he was מלאך השם צבאות. And therefore he could solve the problems.
He's the original teacher on Shalom Bayit.
Yes, yes. That was his forte. That in the Mishnah, what Hillel says, what is Aaron? אוהב שלום, רודף שלום, אוהב את הבריות. Love the people. And the only way to do it right is in Karvan Torah. Okay, so we just touched a big thing, a big topic that has so many implications. But the basic, all those things, the fundamental things are things that people do not really learn. No one goes to Sefer Bereshis to understand love. To the beginning, to the creation, to understand the basic of what human being is. And so this is the base, but there are many, many ramifications and implication to this. So thank you for listening and coming here. And this is the second time I'm here in Beit Shemesh within a very short time. So Bezrat Hashem we could. Actually, you know what? I want...
I'll just thank them.
Right.
For that.
I want just to add another thing. I had an idea that could be, I don't know, you tell me if you think, I'm giving a weekly shiurim in Parashat Shavua in Hebrew. And I have a lot of demand to give it in English, but I don't have a group of people. But today, we have the Zoom, and therefore we could get to the entire world. I have a weekly shiur in Zoom that it's 2 o'clock in our time in New York. That's 9 o'clock p.m. here. I know. Okay, but we'll come back with Bezrat Hashem. But I thought, and if will be a demand for this, I'll try to do it, a weekly shiur Parsha by Zoom. It could be from here, from England, from US, from Australia, from anywhere, that will be a shiur. So if will be a demand for this, I might do a weekly shiur like this in a Zoom.
9 p.m. might be too late for the ladies, but I would ask them.
Yeah, could be earlier. I don't know. It should be the convenience time because for me anyway it's the noon. I could do it 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, whatever.
Maybe ask,
Okay, we'll see.
Ask if 8, 9, I don't know.
Fine. Yeah.
Good question to
Yeah, there are children to put to sleep and other stuff.
9 is a good time.
9 is a good time.
Fine, we'll see. We'll see. We'll work it out. Okay, so
Give the shiur.
last two things. We are hosted here by the Kol Eliyahu Shul, and the Rav is here, and we spoke a little bit afternoon about this place and the project, and it used to be a very big, alive and full of Torah here, and because of problem of budget, they just went down. They want to go get back and put it alive and full again. So the Rav is here, probably wants to speak, to say a few words. Another thing for me, I was happy to be here, and our tribe has Hashem to come to Eretz Israel more often. Now I have reason, family reason to come. I have my son here, so maybe during the year I'll come more time, and then we'll arrange shiurim, and one of them could be here for sure in English, as we're doing in the rest of the country in Hebrew. So that's it. That's it. This is my, okay, so I'll say thank you to you and goodbye, and see you soon.
ממש בקצרה.